Welcome to the R video tutorial on dyplyr, select, and group by. Again, we're working with the Tidyverse. So what we're interested in is this time is learning how to select out columns and how to better organize our results. So the first thing we're going to need to do is load our library, dyplyr. And it gives us the normal errors or not errors, they're just giving us warnings to let you know what's going on. Again, I'm going to set my working directory. Remember, my working directory is not your working directory. And then I'm going to read in the flight data. And it says crime here because I left it there. But I'm going to put in here the flight 2007A CSV file. And that's in the repository below. That's linked below. So if you don't have it right now, you might want to go get it. It does take it a second to load, and it does take a little bit of time to download. So I would pause the video right now and then come back and start it whenever you're ready. All right, now that you have the data, I'm going to read it in, and you'll see how long it takes to read it in on this machine. It's not a small file. I think it's 650 megabytes. So it's not a gig yet, but it's still a lot of information to be processed. I think there's 7 million rows in this thing. You might have seen some other flight data. This is the one from 2007. It has all the flights in the United States for the year 2007. Every airport, every flight, whether it got canceled or not, whether it ran. If it was a commercial flight, it's in this data set, which makes it kind of fun to use. All right, so it finally finished. And if I run the header of this thing just to get a sense of what's in this data set, you'll see that there's lots and lots of variables, of which I probably just don't want all of them. And that's where select comes in. Select allows me to select the columns that I wish to keep because some of them I just don't care about. Okay, for example, I might not be interested in the tail number. I might not be interested in the distance in. I might not be interested in the taxi in or taxi out time. I could not be interested in lots of these. So what I want to do is I want to grab specific things. So what I want to do is I want to take my flight data, and then I'm going to use the then operator, if I can type it again. Yay, I could do that. Now, if I just select, and then I put in the columns that I want to keep. So I want to keep, let's see here. I want to keep day of week. I want to keep the unique carrier, and I want to keep, let's see here, one of these delays is like the bad delay. Let's call this the carrier delay. That's usually the bad delay or the late aircraft delay. But right now we'll just do carrier delay. And I've got it here. And if I just run this by itself, it's just going to give me a ton of output. Now, I don't want to see all the output. I don't want to see 7 million rows. It'll take it forever to do this. So I'm going to make this flight 2. And I'm going to write this information into it so I can see what it produces for me. And in flight 2, you'll see that it has 7,400,000 and some odd thousand observations. And now it just says has 3 variables. So here I could do head flight 2, and you'll see that it only kept the columns that I wanted. So that's what select is going to do. It's just going to grab the columns that you want. Okay, so the next thing I might want to do is take this information and build on it. So let's suppose that I wish to do a little bit more. I want to select this, but I also want to, before I select it, I want to get the origin out of this thing. Okay, so I'm going to do filter. You remember the filter from before. And here I'm going to put in where my origin, and origin is equal to, and I'm in Richmond, which is Richmond, Virginia, which is RIC. So I'm chaining things together. So the first thing it's going to do is it is going to first filter out all of the data that only has to do with where the origin was RIC. So if I run this now, my flight 2 should change in size. Okay, now it's only 19,857 observations of 3 variables. Now, the next thing I can do, which might be really, really handy, is I want to group by. Okay, so I want to group by various information. And I like group by because it reminds me of SQL. So I'm going to take these two and I'm going to group by them. So I've got the day of the week, the unique carrier, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize it. Because summaries are good as well. And this will really illustrate what group by does. Okay, we understand what filter does. We understand what select does. Now, if we summarize this, and I'm just going to have delay mean is going to be my new variable, and it's going to be the mean of carrier delay. Okay. Now, if I run this, I don't actually have to run this into a smaller data set. In this case, I'm going to put it in a smaller data set, but what it's going to do is it shrunk everything down to 91 observations. Because if I look at flight 3, which I can actually do because it's small enough, if you look here, I have day of the week, which is Sunday. Here's my unique carrier, 9E. No idea what that is. And its average delay was 7 minutes on Sunday. AA, American Airlines, on Sunday, average delay was about 4.5 minutes. Okay, so, and you can come down through here, U.S. Air, when it still was an actual airline before it was rolled into American Airlines. You have in here United Airlines, you have Delta, and you can look at them by day of the week. And that makes this really, really handy, okay, because it allows us to roll the data up and group it by, first by day of the week, and then by carrier. But I can also change this simply by regrouping this. I'm going to copy and paste this and make another one, and I'm going to swap out these two things, day of week and unique carrier. So I'm going to do first, I'm going to copy and paste this day of the week here. So get rid of that and pop it over here, right? Because they don't have to be in the same order. So then here I had day of week again. Get rid of the comma. And this should produce us a different look at the same data. And that's where group by comes in really, really handy. Okay, again, I have 91 observations of 3 variables. But now they're organized by the carrier. See, I have 9E, then I have all 7 observations associated with them. I have American Airlines, and I have all 7 observations associated with them, and so on. And this makes it a really, really easy way to group your data. And if you're familiar with SQL, you'll find that it's quite natural to do this type of thing. It's not exactly like SQL because you would put the summarize statement over here and select, but never mind on that. It is getting closer and closer to SQL. All right, so we've accomplished what we wanted to. We wanted to look at how to use the select and the group by functions inside dyplyr to help us organize our data better. Remember, dyplyr is to help us navigate through our data. It doesn't really do data analysis, so don't look at it as a data analysis tool. Look at it as a way to help you work through your data. All right, and we'll see you in the next video.